Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. So I'm very happy to be here in Kannamangala Bhakti Center amongst all of you. Echo is there. Volume is there. Echo is also there, it seems. Maybe some parameters. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So I was just asking that today can we discuss on the topic of Prasadam prayers, to Achit Prabhu. Have we discussed this before in the past here? Prasadam prayers. It may not be a right day, on Ekadashi day. So, but Ekadashi day also we have Prasadam, right? So it's not that we don't have Prasadam on Ekadashi day. So it's a very interesting and nice prayer. So this prayer starts with two components are there. So one of the component of this prayer is the Sanskrit part of it, and the other is the Bengali part of it. So the Bengali prayer is written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and the Sanskrit part is taken from the other scripture, right? So now this prayer actually starts with, okay, before offering Prasadam prayer, we'll offer Mangalacharan prayers, right? Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatharine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So the Prasadam prayer starts with Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swalpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwashanai Vajayate. Right? So like here, four entities that are mentioned in this prayer. What are the four things that are mentioned here? Mahaprasad, the Mahaprasad of the Lord. Then Govinda is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Govinda. And then Nama Brahmani. So Nama Brahma means the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of holy name. Right? So there are different kinds of Brahman means the Supreme Lord, Supreme Absolute Truth. And we have this one, what is that? Parabrahma means like the Supreme Lord Himself. And then we have Mahat Brahman. In the Bhagavad Gita, it comes Tasam Brahma Mahat Yonir. Like that. Mahat Brahma means the material creation. Right? So the material creation is also a Brahman. So here, what all things are included in this word Brahman when we talk about? What all things are included in the word Brahman? Sarvam Kalavidam Brahma. Everything that exists is Brahman only. So Brahman means the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Supreme Lord, and everything that exists is Supreme Lord only. No? Correct, no? So everything that exists is Supreme Lord. How do we say everything that exists is Supreme Lord?
part and parcel of Krishna or expansion?
Yeah. So, like this concept of the energy is non-different from the energetic, no, that is there. So, energy is also called as the Supreme Lord, no, because it has connection with the Supreme Lord. So now, whenever this concept comes, I always like this one shloka, from the Vedic text. So it says that Ekadesha Sthita Shagni, Jyotsna Vistarina Yatha. So just like Agni is situated in one place, but its Jyoti is spread everywhere. Jyotsna Vistarina Yatha. So in the similarly, Parasya Brahmana Shakti Yatedam Akilam Jagat. So in the similar way, the Supreme Lord, though he is present in one place, his energies are spread out throughout the creation. Right? So this is a very nice shloka which appeals to me a lot. So you might have heard me speaking about the shloka many times. So here in this way we see that everything that exists in the whole creation is either the Lord or the Lord's energies. And the energy and the energetic are non-different. So now for example, if can we define the fire without heat and light? So we cannot define the fire without heat and light. And we identify fire only with heat and light. No? If there is some heat, so then like we sense that okay, there is some fire over there. So heat and light we synonymously use for fire. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada gives this analogy that the sun rays are coming inside the room. So then we tell that sun has come. So sun खुद निकल के आ गए तो it is very big problem. So we cannot stand here. We will all become burnt, right? So sun has not come, but still the sun rays, we call it as sun only, right? So in the same way, the energy of the Lord is sometimes called as the Lord himself. In the first canto of Bhagavatam, I think Vyasadev or Narad Muni actually mentions this one. Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetara. So this world is nothing but the Lord. So why it is called like that? Because it is energy of the Lord. So energy of the Lord is not different from the Lord. So that's the way it is mentioned. So Brahman means anything, the Lord and anything that which is in connection with the Lord can be called as Brahman. So Mahat Brahman means this material world, which is nothing but an emanation from the Supreme Lord, right? And then Jiva Brahma means, who are Jiva Brahma? All of us only. So we are the ones, we are also energy of Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna, we are energy of Krishna. Right? So, and then in the Nectar of Instruction there is nice, one shloka comes, that Gangam Basam, Drishtair Swabhava Chanitair Vapushasya Doshair Na Prakritatvam Iha Bhakta Janasya Pasher. So, what is the next two lines? So basically in this, it says that this word actually comes, Brahma Dravatvam, Apagachati Nira Dharma. Okay. So Gangambasham na kalu Budbuddha Fena Pankar, Brahma Dravatvam, Apagachati Nira Dharma. So now for this particular shloka is a little tangent, but anyways, we will see this. We should not see the apparent faults in the Vaishnavas. Drishtair, Swabhava Chanitair. So the faults that has come because of their Swabhava, right? And then Na Prakrita Tattvam Iha Bhakta Janasya Pashyet. So we should not see devotees in the light that this person has, this is an angry devotee, this is a very cranky devotee, we should not see like that. So devotee is a devotee and he may have some faults, from the past conditioning. So that's okay. That will go over a period of time, due to the practice of Krishna consciousness. So, Ganga Ambasam na kalu budbuddha fena pankar. So, this is, the comparison is given in the water of the Ganges. There will be budbuddha, there will be foam, and then budbuddha is what? Water bubbles, bubbles, and fena is the foam, and then pankar is the dust particles and things like that. So these may be there, but still Brahmadravatvam. So here it is, the word Brahmadrava is used. So this is Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of water. Brahmadravam, right? So Brahmadravatvam, Apagachati Nira Dharma. So there may be some apparent faults in the water of Ganges, but still the Ganges water should be accepted as pure, no, like that. So, anyways, like I was just explaining all these things to come to the point, that is Nama Brahmani. So, like this is a most often mispronounced word in the Mahaprasade Govinde prayers. No, Namo Brahmana comes, like, devotees, like, it will be so amusing to see, like, what all different things they chant. So many different things actually they chant, and it's fault is on us, like we have never made a proper this one on this particular thing. So this is Mahaprasade, Govinde, Nama Brahmani, and Vaishnave, right? So like this Vaishnava means like devotees of the Lord, right? So on these four principles, these are the four principles that are talked about in the shloka. And like Swalpa Punyavatam Rajan, Vishwashanaiva Jayate. So a person who has got very little punya, for him, faith in these four things will not appear. No, he will not gain faith in the holy name, he will not gain faith in the Lord, he will not gain faith in the process of Krishna consciousness, right? So Mahaprasad and things like that. So this is like now in Krishna consciousness, what is a key thing that we need to have in advancement? What is the key thing for advancing? Till now, whatever we have discussed in that? Faith. Faith is a key principle. And this, how does this faith come? No, from this shloka. Let's not go out of syllabus. Huh? Punya. Punya. Right? So, and at the same time, we have heard also, no amount of punya can give rise to bhakti. You do if somebody says like, he's doing nice social service, he helps people and he does so many different things, and he's a very, very pious person. So then he can take up bhakti, right? So he's a very nice, good person. He can take up bhakti easily. Is this statement correct or not? Why it is not correct?
Because it's not centered around Krishna.
Yeah. So now there are different types of punya that is there. So one type of punya is that if I do material punya, I'll get material results. Like if I do some good activities on the material plane, I will get result as Janma, Aishwarya, Shutashri. That will be the resultant things. Good birth, like wealth and beauty and knowledge. These are the things that is resultant of material punya. And there are punya which is on the platform of jnana, which gives rise to knowledge. Some activities of punya, austerities and tapasya, so which is prescribed in the jnana yoga. So when we perform those activities, we will get the results of jnana, right? So in punya in the bhakti is also there. What is this punya in bhakti? Accidentally honoring prasadam. Accidentally giving lift to a devotee. So and then this one, what is that? If some Hare Krishna people are going on in the street and see these people are beggars, like ये कुछ काम करने के लिए काम कुछ नहीं, काम धंधा नहीं है, ऐसे घूम रहे हैं. These people are who? Hare Krishna people. So ऐसा कुछ नाम ले लिया उन्होंने. So some punya he gets, because of that, making fun of the devotees and accidentally like meeting with some devotees and like in interaction with Krishna or Krishna's devotees or Krishna's prasadam and things like that. So when they interact like this, so they get some punya. And this punya, when it is sufficient in quantity, then they will get faith in the process of Mahaprasade, Govinde, Nama Brahmani and Vaishnava, right? So this sufficient level of punya is there. So now this also helps in our preaching and book distribution. So we should not be like very sad that I went and approached this person, he could have taken book, he did not take. So our Amog Lila Prabhu, when he came, like he gave a very nice example on this. How many of you remember? क्या example दिए थे तपन प्रभु?
We should think like we are the one who has made the crack.
Crack.
And at some point in time
Somebody will break it. So this helps us to be in humble mood. Like making one person devotee is not one devotee's job. So many devotees will act upon him over a period of time. And then finally somebody will break, So that is this one, that is actually logic. So if we are actually sitting here and able to hear the messages of Krishna consciousness, able to chant, able to absorb ourselves in the process of Krishna consciousness, means so many people would have deposited punya in us. So many people would have prayed for us. We didn't, it is hard to know even who all have invested in us. So it's so difficult to know even that. So much, so many people would have done, may this person become a devotee, may he become attracted to Krishna. Like that, many people would have prayed for us. And when that punya becomes accumulated, and when we are going somewhere, we would have accidentally had some prasadam, somebody offered something, or we would have seen some books and things like that somewhere. We have this experience. We used to put in the Majestic subway, our Majestic bus stand, in the Kannamangala is a different city altogether, it's in the central, this one, Bangalore. So we used to put stall, once in a while we used to put stall, and we used to get some few books distributed, like 5 books, 10 books distributed. The same amount of, at one point in time, one of our devotees, even now, he's in charge of books in our Narsimha Giridhari Mandir, so Suvigraha Prabhu. So he used to put, later on he started putting every single day book stall. And so once he started putting, gradually the sales, books distribution actually increased, over a period of time. And it came to such this one, after 3-4 months, every single day he was distributing 60-70 books in the same place. And just to give a personality, his personality is he will just keep the book and he'll just stand. That's all. He will not do anything. Right? So what happened is, over a period of time, people were seeing, and then they started getting this one. And we interacted with certain people who were taking books later on. So they were telling that initially we saw what are these books? We didn't want to have these things. And then over a period of time, they kept seeing Bhagavad Gita. And then every day, they are going to work and coming back from work and things like that. So they are seeing. And over a period of time, the punya has become sufficient in quantity that they automatically come and say after 4-5 months, it is just people just give money and take book and go. Nobody is asking anything actually. So the deposit of punya is required. Sufficient punya is there, even just glancing over the book, it has its effect actually. So in this way, agyata sukruti, it actually develops over a period of time, and then people actually commit themselves for the process of Krishna consciousness. So now, how do we remain humble in this way? By understanding this thing. If we are able to make somebody devotee, so we can be humble, saying that so many people have already worked on him. So I'm just doing the icing on the cake, And then if I'm not able to convince anybody of Krishna consciousness, okay, fine, I did my job of depositing a little bit of sukruti in him. So somebody may cultivate him, and in future, he'll become devotee. So, and also the kind of respect that we offer to the people who come to our ISKCON centers. So if we distribute passes, even to take the pass itself, a lot of sukruti is required. And after taking the pass of Gita course, to come and physically attend a program, it takes a lot of sukruti. And then to be a regular student, it takes a lot more sukruti actually. And then to become a committed devotee, it takes a lot more sukruti. So we are never at loss. Even a person who comes for one session, in the probably few years later, he may be a regular student, or in the next lifetime he will become a regular student. So the deposit of sukruti is very much there. 4266 car has to be removed. It's not our vehicle, no? So, yeah. So in this way, this deposit of sukruti is very, very important. And by developing the sukruti, what will happen? We will get more faith, and by getting more faith, we will get more absorption in the process of Krishna consciousness. So there is a nice bhajan that is there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually writes this, what is it? Bodo Kripa, Bodo Sukher Kabar Gai, Surabhi Kunjete Namar Heta Kuleche, and then Shraddha Mulya Shuddha Nam, Se Hatete Bikai. So this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling that there is a very, very happy news, that's there. So what's the happy news? There is a marketplace of holy name, that has got opened, and in this marketplace, we have a very good news, how much faith you have got, no Shraddha Mulya, no, so like that is the price that you have to pay, and Shuddha Nam. So you will get the pure holy name in return to the faith that you are actually paying for, right? So when you deposit the faith, and according to the faith, you will actually get the this one, the holy name, the you will be able to get deeper into the process of Krishna consciousness, right? So this, in this way, like the first stanza of the prasadam, honoring prasadam, so we actually make this particular prayer that Mahaprasade, Govinde, Nama Brahmani and Vaishnave, so Swalpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwasanai Vijayate. So now we are actually, what is the mood in which this is offered? It's with lot of gratitude. No, now I've got this prasadam. So this is like, this is something that is offered to people, or a person who will get faith in this prasadam is a person with lot of punya. No, somehow or other I am able to get this prasadam. So I'm so fortunate, right? So I'm so fortunate to receive, this prasadam. So that's the mood in which, like, we actually pray this particular stanza. And then the next to this one, so next to this whole prayer of Sharira Avidya Jal. So that's also quite philosophical, and it encapsulates the whole of the philosophy, right? So how many of you have heard this explanation of Mahaprasadam prayers, even the new people who have just joined in? I was always in doubt, like whether I spoke about this here or not. So if I have spoken and if you have forgot, then that is also good. So, again I can speak. Even if we remember also, like our whole principle is to again and again discuss about these subjects which are quite essential to us, and which are quite means every day we honor prasadam, and every day we chant these prayers. But then due to some influence of the material nature, so we get mechanical into these prayers. So but the whole idea of starting this series is that to give a kind of, to invest our consciousness into our daily activities. So our daily prayers, we are doing a lot of prayers every day. So if we can just invest our consciousness in it, a lot of sadhana is done. Lot of sadhana is done. So you imagine that, like, Mangalarti, we are doing, chanting we are doing, 10 offenses we are chanting, and then 6 Shastakam prayers and prasadam prayers. So many prayers actually we chant, every single day. So if we can just put our consciousness into it, so then a lot of sadhana is done, and it actually sets right, a lot of parameters in our system. So now, this Sharira Avidya Jal. Sharira is like the body, and Avidya Jal. Avidya Jal means network of illusion. Jal, and Avidya. So it is network of illusion. And how many of you have heard the statement Tamasoma Jyotirgama? Right? So what does it mean? We should not remain in darkness and go to the light, right? So we are sitting under the light only, no? This statement doesn't apply to us. Now already, we are under the Jyoti. Correct, no? So what is, are we in darkness? Ignorance to knowledge. Yeah, so that is this one. So darkness means what? Like in some of the sessions we had discussed this particular point, that light means to understand that we are part and parcel of Krishna, we are meant to render service to Krishna, and everything that exists around me are also part and parcel of Krishna, and everything should be utilized in service of Krishna, right? So this is called light, and darkness means what? So darkness means, like, I am different, Krishna is different, I don't have any connection with him, and all these objects that are there around, so all of them are different, and these objects potentially I can enjoy, right? So then if we have that kind of a vision, then we are in darkness. We are not able to see the reality, as how everything is connected to Krishna, how everything is part and parcel of Krishna. So when we are not able to see that, so then it is called darkness, right? So whenever I contemplate on this subject, I like one more shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. So which says, Bhayam dvitiyad abhiniveshatashyad ishadapetasya viparyayo mukha. So when will, this is definition of fear, Like, I'm not going to tell the meaning of it. I'm just going to ask you, what could be this definition? When will fear arise in the heart? Srimad Bhagavatam is giving a definition. So let's try to guess, what is the source of fear?
When you think that you're losing something.
So when we see that we are going to lose something,
When our heart tells that this is the wrong, when our
heart tells this is wrong, so then fear comes. Okay.
When we are in mode of ignorance.
When we are in mode of ignorance, okay,
Lack of proper knowledge.
lack of proper knowledge.
Same thing. Fear arises when you don't have the knowledge about the absolute truth.
Yeah. So here it is very nicely it is mentioned, Bhayam Dvitiyad. No, there is second reality that is there. So in the Vedanta Sutras it is mentioned, Ekameva Advitiyad. So there is no second entity that exists. There is only one entity that exists, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what about all other things that exist? All of them are part and parcel of Krishna and they don't have an independent existence. So Krishna is the only independent personality who exists. All of us are dependent realities. No, we are real only because Krishna is there. No, because of Krishna's empowerment, because of Krishna's presence, we are a reality. Without Krishna, we don't have any reality. We don't have an independent existence separate from Krishna, right? So now, if we manage to see the Dvitiya, no, that means if we manage to see something real exists which doesn't have connection with Krishna, so then that is called ignorance, right? So when this we are able to see, when the second reality when we are able to see, then immediately there is fear. Bhayam dvitiyad abhiniveshatasya. When does this happen? No, like ishad apetasya viparyoyo mukha. So when we turn our face away from Krishna, no? So because Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hai andakar. So Maya is the ignorance or the darkness and Krishna is like the sun. Yahan Krishna tahanai Maya radhikar. So where there is Krishna, there is no influence of the darkness, right? So now if Krishna is present, then there is no influence of darkness. So if I am there in the ignorance means only way is I have turned my face away from Krishna. No, Ishad apetasya viparyayo mukha. So I have turned my face away from Krishna. So then there is darkness that is there, right? So and this darkness, like if how many of you are afraid of your right hand that suddenly it may hit you? You don't have fear of it, right? So because it is one body and it is part and parcel of your body, a part of your body cannot harm another part of the body, right? So if we understand we are part and parcel of Krishna and everything that exists is part and parcel of Krishna, where will the fear arise? So fear will not arise, right? So but if we see something separate from Krishna, oh, this is a different entity. This has the potential to harm me, right? So then there is a potential of fear that arises over there. So this is the aspect. The ignorance means what? Ignorance means like being separated from Krishna. So the Lord actually gives Chaturshloki Bhagavatam and 4 verses. So he actually summarizes the Bhagavatam and he gives to Lord Brahma. And in that he actually defines that in the first sloka he defines that everything that existed before, it's I only who existed before the creation, and during the creation whatever you are seeing, it's nothing but me, and after the annihilation what remains will be me alone, right? So it's like, it's the superset wala definition actually. So when things are unmanifested, everything is resting upon in Krishna, and during the creation Lord unleashes his material energy, and then so many different varieties of creation actually happens. And essentially, it's Krishna alone is there. No, Krishna and his energies. No, he just let open his energies to manifest in different ways. And after some time, he retracts all his energies back into himself, right? So essentially, the Lord is the only one who exists in all these 3 phases. Before the creation, during the creation, and after the creation. And then after defining this, how he is present everywhere at every time and only he exists and nothing else exists apart from him, all this definition he gives. And then in the second shloka, he tells, even after this, if you manage to see something which doesn't have a connection with me, you should understand that is my Maya, right? So that is illusion. So what is illusion? Illusion is not that object. We are in illusion. We are not able to see its connection with Krishna. All object has its connection with Krishna. So one time in a morning walk, one devotee told to Srila Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, this is a weed. It doesn't have any use. So then Prabhupada chastised him saying that you don't know what is its use. No? So you don't tell that it is useless. So you don't know what is its use. No, Krishna's creation, everything is useful. No, some or other purpose Krishna would have created that thing. So you don't know the purpose for which it is created. So it is in that way the pure devotee's vision is that everything that exists has its connection with Krishna. Right? So that is the knowledge. So now Sharira Avidya Jal. So this body is a network of illusion. No? So this body is made of what? This body is made of different senses, no, primarily. And these senses are designed in such a way to inspire ignorance. No? To inspire ignorance and to inspire the tendency to enjoy the things in this world, right? So, and that's going to be there in the next line. Sharira Avidya Jal, Jada Indriya. No, Jada Indriya, Tahe Kal. No, Kal means what? Death. No, so it is death personified. The senses are considered to be death personified. तो ऐसा लग रहा है क्या? No, senses are considered to be death personified. So what death it is going to give us? Yeah, the senses can actually attract us to the sense objects. So sense objects in Sanskrit, what it is called as? Vishaya. Vishaya means sense objects, right? So this is how the Vedic language, it actually deals with. Senses are called Indriya and the sense objects are called Vishaya, right? And the senses, like, they are quite active and they come in contact with the sense objects. It inspires us the material thoughts, no? All the material thoughts actually comes. So Jada Indriya Tahe Kal, so that's why it is mentioned as it is death personified, because our life is Krishna consciousness, and the senses can actually make us forget Krishna. No, that's the power that the senses have. And the material senses, in this world, we have come to enjoy this world. So Krishna has designed the senses in such a way that we can enjoy this world, right? So, but then when we want to go back to Him, so we have a wrong apparatus with us. No? So we have all the senses like eyes, ears, nose and things like that are all tuned for sense gratification. And now I want to do devotional service. I want to use everything in Krishna's service. So it's an incompatibility that is there, right? So it's not going to be that easy, to do this work. And that's why Krishna is very merciful. So in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says that when a devotee is trying to come towards me and then he falls down from his practice, and then again he gets up and again he practices. So I relish this, stumbling. It's just like a small kid trying to walk. Sometimes it falls, sometimes it, walks again and things like that. So parents enjoy that, तो बड़े होने के बाद भी ऐसा है तो like no parents को थोड़ा चिंता हो जाएगा small child does like that, it's okay, so like the Lord sees a devotee, a practicing devotee, trying to practice and unable to practice, and he falls and then he again gets up and again he tries to practice. He actually relishes this whole this one of the devotee who's coming closer to Krishna. How nicely he is actually looking forward for me, and he is struggling, and then Krishna gives support. But then we may not know like how Krishna is actually supporting us, but Krishna practically gives support in many, many different ways. This one that we are sitting amongst such a community of devotees, that itself is a big support. Where will we get this kind of opportunity to be around the devotees? Wherever you see like devotees are wearing tilak and like Vaishnava attire, and then if you speak with them, they will speak about Krishna. They will speak about the glories of the devotional service and things like that. Right? So it's a very, very, very nice opportunity. We are there. So in this way, many, many different ways, Krishna actually offers protection to the devotee. And because we are struggling with the senses, which are not compatible, which are not conducive for the practice of Krishna consciousness. Eyes naturally wants to look up, something beautiful, and ears naturally wants to hear something that is, that inspires sense gratification and things like that. So now, this Sharira Avidya Jal Jadendriya Tahe Kal, so this material senses are death, almost equivalent to death personified, because they can inspire us to take our focus away from Krishna, right? So Jadendriya Tahe Kal and Jiva Fele Vishaya Sagare. And the living entity, to add like mirchi masal to the injury, So like we are thrown into the ocean of what? Vishaya Sagare means what? Ocean of sense objects. So, like senses are there, okay, I will control or I will not use my senses, I will not allow the senses to be activated. But the problem is we are thrown into an ocean of sense objects, and till the time sense objects are there, senses will be fully active. So, like there is an analogy that is given that different animals have different weaknesses. One of the senses are overpowering them, that no, their weak point is that particular sense. So for a deer, what is a weak point?
Sound.
Sound. Like deer is hunted by playing nice music. Now if you play nice music, it will just stun and it will stand there and आराम से like शिकारी आके पकड़ के लेके चलेगा चले जाएगा. No, so like that. So deer, his weakness is ears. So and then whose weakness is tongue? Which animal's weakness is tongue? Fish. No, fish, like you put a bait, no, and then it looks like a corporate term, no? You put a bait and then you catch somebody. So like you put a bait into the water and then the fish, they want to eat, no? Though there is so much of algae around over there in this one and so much nice stuffs are there within the water, but something new has come, no? Immediately they'll go and catch, right? So like they have weakness in the tongue, right? And then who has weakness in the eyes? Moth, no, glowworms, and no. So they have, like wherever there is small light is there, they will just go towards that. Now what's the problem? If there is a fire, that is also light. You just burn a little fire and all of them, like they come inside and they'll get burnt. So that's a problem, right? So like that, for different animals, different senses are like powerful or weak points. And when that senses become activated, like they cannot do anything. Even though they may die also, like even honeybees, it is mentioned like they will sit on the lotus flower and they'll nicely, take the honey, and in the night the lotus flower is actually closing, and when it is closing, he is knowing that it is closing, but still like thoda sa ras mil raha hai, so he is there like tasting that honey, and when the last this one is closing, that time I'll exit, he'll make all the plan, but then he's so intoxicated with the honey, he doesn't make his way out. And then in the morning you will see that he is dead. Within the lotus flower he is dead actually. So in this way, like different animals and insects, they have different senses as weak points. And for humans, what is a weak point? All the senses are fully active. All the senses are fully active. That is why Jada Indriya Kahe Kal. It's like it's very, very dangerous. It can actually drag us out of Krishna consciousness. Right? So Jiva Phele Vishaya Sagare. So like we are thrown into the ocean of sense objects, and this looks to be like very, very precarious condition. There is like hopeless condition. We are fitted with an apparatus which will drag us away from Krishna. And when will this apparatus work? When it has some trigger. When it has some trigger or contact with the sense objects. And what is the probability of we coming in contact with sense objects? The probability kya, like ocean of sense objects. We are put into the ocean of sense objects. It's always fully active, right? So then it looks to be a like dead end. There is no scope for our no deliverance, right? So Jiva Phele Vishaya Sagre. And then the next to this one is, out of all the senses, Tara Madhya Jiva Ati Lobhamaya. So this one, Jiva means the tongue, and tongue is Ati Lobhamaya. So it is like, okay, senses and sense objects coming in contact, but then the tongue works over time. It works to go towards the sense objects. So it is Lobhamaya, it has so much of greed, the tongue, it actually, the tongue gravitates towards the sense objects all the time, right? So all the senses, but especially the tongue is very, very dangerous. In what ways the tongue is dangerous? What ways the tongue is dangerous? Wanting to eat and wanting to speak. So like one time, one devotee was doing austerity, a lot of austerity he was doing, like he was not eating sufficiently. And then the complaint went to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada asked, like, why are you not eating properly? Prabhupada, you only told, in your class and you have written in the books that, a devotee should be mitabuk, he should eat frugally. So I'm just trying to follow this one. And Prabhupada told, yeah, like nobody will die because of not eating. People will die only because of eating. So all the disease come because of eating, and you will not die because of fasting. So you continue like that. Prabhupada gave his blessings. So like, eating is this. And then all sorts of problems, in this world come because of speaking. कुछ तो गलत जहाँ पे गलत चीज बोल दिया खत्म. So it is gone. And then the speaking, we have so much interest in speaking the subject matter of the material world, which is filled with the three modes of nature. And associating with the modes of nature, we will remain in the modes of nature, right? So the speaking like is a very big challenge actually for everyone, and even for me, like it's a big challenge. All the problem till date, whatever I've gone into, it's all because of speaking, you know. So, and this is a problem. And how easy is to control the tongue? I know that my tongue is going to drag me into problem. Still, I cannot control my tongue. It is so difficult because the lobomayam, the tongue is tuned in a different way, that it will drag us into problems, right? So it will drag us into problems. So Tara Madhya Jiva Ati Lobamaya and Sudurmati. No, the tongue doesn't have any good intelligence. No, इसको कुछ भी logic नहीं है, कुछ भी ये नहीं है. कब क्या बोलेगा, भगवान जाने. Like it is very difficult to understand that the tongue is so uncontrollable. No, it is lobamaya and sudurmati. No, superlative durmati. So it's very, very bad intelligence it has, right? So in this way, many times the person is not at fault. The person has a good intention only, but then galti se tongue will vibrate certain distance, and it actually puts the person into problem, right? So, and then lobo maya sudurmati take jita katina sansare. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling, to win over this tongue is very, very difficult in this world, right? So to win over this tongue is very difficult. So now the first paragraph, only if we study, it's really a hopeless situation. And now we will get into depression. So, but the second stanza is the hope-giving thing, right? So what is the hope-giving thing? How does the second stanza starts? Krishna Bada Dayamoy, right? On our own, it's hopeless. So, but the good thing is, Krishna Bada Dayamoy, right? So, in this connection, like in my Gita course, in the early days, like one student used to come, right? So, that student was like brought up in Shankaramata education, and then a lot of Mayavad philosophy were, he studied in this one. So now, whenever I used to put forward a devotional principle, so he used to argue saying that this is like in our philosophy it is not like this, it is like that. So this kind of arguments used to come every class. So then in one class that person actually told, but one thing that is good about your Vaishnava principle. What is this good? So for anything and everything, any problem is there, you just pray to Krishna and Krishna will help you. But in our like Mayavad philosophy, there is, you are all alone. You have to find your way. So you are all alone. You have to fight the battle. You have to handle the problems, and you have to handle the senses and everything you have to handle. But in your Vaishnava Siddhanta, like any problem is there, you just take shelter of Krishna and Krishna will help you. This seems to be very nice. This is a very nice observation actually. And here also we see Krishna Bada Dayamoy. That is the really very powerful this one. That Krishna is very, very merciful. And how is he merciful? How is he going to show his mercy? What is the next line? Karibare jiva chai. He is going to enable us to win over this tongue, right? So Karibare and jiva jai. So like जीव को पराजय करने के लिए he is going to help us out. He is going to help us out in this process. And how is he going to help us? Swaprasad Annadilobai, right? So he has given Swaprasad, like and then like he has given the prasadam to us. Like with that we can actually engage our tongue in relishing Krishna Prasad, right? Or in another way, like in the way of serving Krishna Prasad. So that's why we call it as Sevana, Prasada Sevana, right? So we approach Prasad with a mood that Prasad is not different from Krishna, and now it is an opportunity for me to serve Krishna, right? So I'm not planning to enjoy Prasadam, so I'm planning to serve the Prasadam, right? So like that is a way like we actually look upon. Each and every morsel of this Prasad has touched the lips of the Lord, and then it is sanctified by His divine touch, and now it is there, in front of me. Now it is an opportunity for me to serve, this glorious prasadam, right? So that is a mode with which, like, we actually approach the prasadam. So now, Swaprasadam, he has given, and then what else he has given? Swaprasad, Swanama, Swadama, and then Swalila. So many different things like he has given. His pastimes, the holy name, his abode. Krishna manifested his pastimes in Vrindavan, and he left Vrindavan back here. Why? So that we can, Whitefield devotees can go for yatra. So like, he has left all these things back, so that we can actually get an opportunity to associate with things which are in connection with him, And in this way we can become purified, right? So Swaprasad Annadilo by say Namrita Pav and Radha Krishna Gunagav. What is the importance of Radha Krishna Gunagav? Because the tongue has two functions, no? So one is tasting prasadam, another is like speak about Krishna, no? So this is actually, it is not just prasadam prayers, no? That's a misconception. This is just prasadam prayers. It's actually a prayer with, we can use for approaching any element of Krishna consciousness, no? It is, it's an all-encompassing prayer. No, it's a very, very powerful prayer actually. So, and what is it? Swaprasad Annadilabai and say Anamrita Pav. So please accept this Anamrita. And then Radha Krishna Gunagav. So when we chant the names of Lord and when we glorify the Lord and when we recite the Vedic scriptures, so then what happens? This tongue becomes very nicely engaged in its two functions of tasting something and speaking. Speaking is substituted with Krishna Katha or Krishna's holy name, and tasting is substituted with like Krishna Prasad. So in the beginning days of ISKCON, like devotees or new boys used to come, like new Western people used to come, and then Prabhupada used to make samosas, and he used to make so many samosas. Like later he told, this guy, he would eat like 20 samosas in one go, like so much he used to eat, and then I was keep on feeding like that. So now we see that Prabhupada knew that in the beginning he didn't put the principle that you should eat less and things like that and all. So he told like, jitna ka sakta kao. That's the initial preaching. Jitna ka sakta kao, because like that if the tongue is satisfied, if the tongue is filled with Krishna Prasad and he doesn't have any attraction to things which is outside, things which is not Prasad, so then that's a big job done actually. Big sealing of from the material modes to enter inside the system. We are actually sealing the system, that we are actually safeguarding our system by honoring prasadam. So initially, like we can just have prasadam to our heart's content. We can just have to really nice amount of this one. Later on we are expected to control, so that is there. So now this and then we should try to see that our senses are nicely engaged in the service of the Lord, and especially the tongue is focused here. So why only tongue is focused? Like all the jada indriya tahe kal, all the senses are dangerous, but why only tongue is focused? Any reason why others are left out?
If it is controlled, then other senses is easy to control.
Yeah. So like the acharyas actually give this one. The tongue, belly and genitals, they are there in one line, and also like the tongue is the central point of control of all the senses. So by controlling the tongue, one will be able to control all other senses easily, right? So the vehicle 5496. It has to be removed. So I thought like, somebody is donating the vehicle. I didn't pronounce the next set of statements. So I don't know whose vehicle it is. There is no like trigger that has happened here. No. 5496, no? 5496. Whose other vehicle it is? It's a red Hyundai vehicle or Honda vehicle?
No, Honda.
Honda vehicle. Honda City, okay. Red Honda City. Okay. So, इधर नहीं है लग रहा. So, ठीक है. So now we see that like when the tongue is controlled, all other senses, we will be able to control. It creates a favorable environment, for us to control the other senses. So it's like that commander-in-chief is, we have won over the commander-in-chief. The army is like, ठीक है, like manage हो जाएगा. So in that way, like the controlling the tongue is quite very important. Right? So any of the senses gets engaged with the sense objects, it's a problem only. But then, like if the control happens on the level of the tongue, it actually gives us a lot of strength to control all other senses. It is not that we should not put focus over there. So in fact, Krishna mentions in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says that there is a enemy of ours. All of us have a common enemy. Which is that common enemy all of us have? Lust. Lust is the common enemy that all of us have. So Arjuna was asking this question: Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha, no anichan api varshnaya baladiva niyojita. So like what is it? I am not having a desire to commit any sin, but I am forced to commit sin as if dragged by force. No, what is this force, Krishna? Like, no, what is it acting upon me that is making me do this sinful activity? So then Krishna says, Kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhava mahashano mahapapma vidyena vairinam. So he mentions that this kama, or the desire to enjoy, kama means, the definition of kama is, like, definition of lust means desire to enjoy someone else's property. And everything that exists is property of Krishna. No? So desire to enjoy anything in this world is like kama only, right? So it is, no, and Krishna says this lust actually sits in 3 strategic positions in the body of a person. Now, where are these 3 places the lust sits? Huh? Mind, intelligence? No. Mind, intelligence, and senses. These are the 3 strategic positions that the lust actually sits, our enemy actually sits. And the lust's job of the lust is to make us enjoy this world, right? So you have nice food is there, you enjoy, no? Like there is nice, no, like people actually go for trips. Like, whenever we go for some yatra, we will see like there are a lot of bikers, who will be zoom, 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 they'll be going. And what is their whole, this one? Like that's one form of lust, to enjoy this bike ride, no? And then they'll go to some very top of the hill and they'll enjoy some scenic place. No, this is also a lust, right? This is called as wanderlust. Okay. So, and then sometimes the lust manifests in the form of seeing somebody else's pain and then enjoying in that, no? And sometimes the lust manifests in the form of like different forms, like, no, accumulating money is one form of lust, no? Accumulating position, fame, like, no, I am glorious, no, many people know about me, right? So this is also one form of lust. So this is all like, no, in this way the lust actually sits strategically in the mind, senses and intelligence, right? And it actually controls the living entity completely, no? And what is a way we can actually, what, like we are trying to do the sadhana, no, for removing this, no, this particular influence. And what is a sadhana essentially should comprise of? What does our sadhana essentially should comprise of? Engaging the mind, intelligence and senses in Krishna's service, right? So that is this one. When we are having Krishna in the mind, then Maya cannot be there. So Maya is represented here by the form of lust, right? So when Krishna is there, then Maya cannot be there. So now how to think of Krishna all the time? And how to think or how to plan for Krishna? No, how to use the intelligence for planning for Krishna? And how to engage the senses practically in the service of Krishna, right? So in this connection, we see that prayers of, like what is that, Ambrish Maharaj's glories, no, that is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Savai mana Krishna padara vendayor. No, mind is engaged in, no, thinking about the lotus feet of the Lord. No, vachamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane. So the speech is engaged in glorifying the Supreme Lord. And then Karau Harer Mandira Marjanadishu, the hands are engaged in cleansing the temple of the Lord. And then Shruti Chakara Achyuta Kato, it comes only in the flow. Okay. So Karau Harer Mandira Marjanadishu, Shrutum Chakara Chutasat Katodaye, right? So like, you know, the ears in hearing the glories of the Lord. And then what is the next, this one? Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drishov. No, the power of seeing, no, I should use in, no, taking darshan of the Lingalaya. So like, what is it, in the deities that are established in the temple. So like, I should take darshan of them, and in that way, like, I should engage the senses. Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drishov. Tat Britya Gatras Parashanga Sangamam. Right? So like, the sense of touch in touching the bodies of the devotees, and that is why, like, you know, when devotees come together, like, you know, they embrace each other and they offer obeisances to each other and things like that. So this is also a devotional service, right? So tad britya gatras parashanga sangamam granam cha tad pada saroja saurave. So like granam, the power of smelling is used by smelling the flowers that are offered to the Lord. So after the arati process, like the flowers are passed on, right? So we smell, and after Narshima Arati, like, no, we the oil, the scented oil that is offered to the Lord is rubbed on the hands of the devotees so that devotees can smell, that scent. Now, how important it is? It's very, very important. Any sense that is left out, which is not engaged in service of the Lord, has the potential to actually drag us to the material, this one. So that is why we should offer flowers to the Lord, and we should smell the flowers that is offered to the Lord, right? And then, what is that? Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite. So Tulsi leaves we should smell also, and then Tulsi leaves that are offered along with the Bhoga, when it is honored by the Lord. So we should taste those Tulsi leaves, and we should also taste the prasadam, right? So which is the remnants of the Lord. So this is also very important, and Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite, and Pado Hariksetra Padanusarpane. So feet we should use to walk towards the Bhakti center, we know we have all conveyances, but still we should walk a little bit distance, at least from car to here. So in this way, our feet is utilized. And in the home also, now wherever the altar is there, now we go towards the altar, walking towards the altar. So that's a nice engagement towards for the feet. And Pada Hariksetra Padanusarpane, Shiro Hrishikesha Padabi Vandane, the head in offering the obeisances to the Lord and the devotees, right? So in that way, we should utilize the head in that way. And then, what is that? Kamam tu dasye natu kama kamyaye etotama shloka janashriye ratihi. So now we see that our desires, we make our desires in line with desires of Krishna. How will we make our desires in line with desires of Krishna? So by following the instructions of the spiritual master, by following the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, reading his books, and then following the instructions. So in that way, we mold our desire according to the desire of Krishna. So when we do all these things, if you see systematically, all the senses are nicely engaged in Krishna's service. So then the lust cannot function in those strategic positions, right? So when the material nature is attacking us in a strategic way, our sadhana should also be in a strategic way, right? So today, did I engage my mind fully in Krishna consciousness? Today, did I use my intelligence in the service of Krishna? Did I use my senses, all my senses, mind and intelligence, in the service of Krishna? So we should have this check. This is a proper process of executing the sadhana. And when we do this sadhana, we'll see that we are, by this sadhana, we are keeping the influence of material nature away, and we are indulging in Krishna, right? So we are indulging in Krishna, and more we indulge in Krishna, more we will become, nice devotees of the Lord, right? So we will become more absorbed in the practices of Krishna consciousness. So in this way, we have to engage our senses in Krishna's service. And here we see that, say, Namrita Pav, Radha Krishna Gunagao, and then Preme Dako, Sri Chaitanya Nitaya. Dako means to call out. So, with lot of love and affection, please call out to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. So, it's very important that in the practice of Krishna consciousness, we take shelter of Panchatattva, we take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, because all these processes, what we have saw till now, the senses are very dangerous, and then the tongue is most ferocious, and we are thrown into the ocean of sense objects, and it's quite difficult to come out of this clutches of material energy. But then Krishna is very merciful. So, but Krishna is very merciful, but still not very merciful, right? So Krishna is not still that merciful. So we need the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, right? So without that, we will not be able to access the mercy of Krishna, right? So Krishna's mercy is attached with so many strings, if there is a little bit of offense, and then Krishna will say, okay, fine, you get ready and then you come, So you become offenseless and you come, and till then we have to wait. But then if we take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu and the Panchatattva, so then they are very, very merciful. They actually pardon our offenses, and then they actually take us into the realm of Krishna consciousness. So that is why this aspect of calling out to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also very important. So now essentially, this prayer can be used for chanting also. So in the chanting process, we take the Pranam Mantra of Srila Prabhupada. We are initiated, we chant the Pranam Mantra of Spiritual Master and Pranam Mantra of Srila Prabhupada, then Panchatattva Mantra, and then Hare Krishna Mantra. So this is a complete process of worship. The chanting that we try to do is a complete process of worship. We take shelter of the Spiritual Master and the Panchatattva, and Radha and Krishna, right? So, like to approach Radha and Krishna, we need the mercy of Panchatattva. And to approach Panchatattva, we need the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru. No, this is very, very essential. So, in this way, like when we are advancing in Krishna consciousness, when we are able to make a little progress in Krishna consciousness, when we are able to hear the names of the Lord clearly and things like that, so we can actually offer gratitude to all these personalities. If not for the mercy of spiritual master, if not for mercy of Srila Prabhupada, if not for the mercy of Panchatattva, I could not have chanted the rounds nicely, right? So if we are not able to chant our rounds nicely, so then we should pray to Krishna, pray to spiritual master, pray to Panchatattva, that please give me some mercy, that I'll be able to be absorbed in the process of Krishna consciousness, that I'll be able to hear your names clearly, right? So we can actually offer prayers in this way. So when we offer prayers, then Krishna and the spiritual master and Panchatattva, they actually reciprocate, So they actually reciprocate in the form of like giving us the absorption in the process of Krishna consciousness, right? So in this way, we can actually try to practice Krishna consciousness. So now is just a little bit of explanation of this prayer we saw. Any questions or comments or anything that you want to get it clarified in this one, so we can discuss for some time.
Hare Krishna, any questions, comments, reflections?
What is the duration of this one, Prabhu?
We generally do this discussion between 12 and 45. So we have some time.
Yes, Prabhu. Your name, Prabhu?
Question is not related to today class, but for Bhagavad. I would like to understand the personality of Aswatthama.
Okay, this we will see a little later. Today's class, we will discuss about today's class. Maybe prasadam time we can discuss this thing, or towards the end. Anything that you liked, in this particular explanation, in this whole process of executing Krishna consciousness, honoring prasadam. So, you can share also the points that you liked.
I would like to share some points. This analogy I had not yet heard till now, which you said, that Sundays is coming, so sun is coming. I'm waiting for that lecture.
Which one?
You said Prabhupada said in the lecture, Sundays come, which is sun is coming.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to hear that lecture. I'm very happy to remind myself that many devotees have invested in me to make me a practicing devotee, and I want to remember this all the time. You mentioned Agyasukriti when we generate over a period of time, and then that's how we become more respectful to saintly people and more respectful to these four principles of Mahaprasad. So I was thinking maybe we should scratch our brain to understand how we can help people to develop more sensitivity. So one thing which we do here is when we send out an Ekadashi plate to someone, we send the Ekadashi Mahatma as a printer.
Okay.
So somebody who is earning control here and there. Like that we need to scratch our brains. And then after that, actually took us through the entire definition or the meaning of the prayers. So something which I am reminding myself is that different animals have different weak points. Human beings are completely weak as far as this network of sensors is concerned. And Lord, we calling out to Shri Gauratai. And thank you for helping us understand that this Mahaprasad mantra can actually help us in various other aspects. It's just not just Mahaprasad. Here's some of the points which I have taken. Anybody else any questions, comments, or questions?
Harsh, Amalatma.
My realization is, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, my realization is that Srila Amrish Prabhu's prayer covers the entire thing of advancing towards Krishna consciousness. It gives us right from top to down all our limbs and all our things where senses are accumulated. They get vanished if we take those things into the service of Krishna. And that's a real realization. Try. regulates this matter.
Hare Krishna. So in this regard, one nice thing, how many devotees every day try to offer flowers to Krishna? Okay. How many of you offer tulsi leaves to Krishna every day? You know, it's very nice practice actually. And offering water, offering tulsi leaves. So you can personally also, like though in home, like different devotees may be like taking turn to worship the Lord, but still like no, we can personally also offer some flowers and some tulsi leaves, and then like cleansing the temple and things like that. So it's a very nice purifying this one. So we should have a checklist. Did all my senses got engaged today in service of the Lord at least even once, right? So in this way we can actually make a checklist, and this is a very strategic way of handling the material nature. So it's very helpful actually, and we'll also develop very nice finer sentiments towards Krishna. Very nice finer sentiments towards the Lord, that we will become very much attached to the Lord. Hare Krishna. Your name, Prabhu? Lokesh. Prabhu.
You mentioned that Jnana Yoga very get you can only get Karma Yoga. You didn't mention that. Can I not see God in Karma Yoga?
You cannot. Can you not see God in Karma Yoga? So, like in every yoga, you get some darshan of God. So, but what is that darshan of God is like defined. So, in the like definition of God, we need to understand the definition of God for that. So, there is different kinds of principles that are there. So, Annamaya, there is one level of understanding of God. What is God? God is food. So then there is like Pranamaya, then Manomaya, then like different levels of understanding is there. So in the level of Karma Yoga, so what is the darshan of God that a practitioner can get is that a practitioner in the beginning of Karma Yoga, so he actually gets the darshan in the form of accepting the scriptures as ultimate authority, right? So that is one level of darshan of the Lord, right? So the scriptures is not different from the Lord. The words of scriptures are directly the words of the Lord. So that faith is one level of darshan of the Lord, right? And then the second level of darshan a Karma Yogi gets is by the practice, little bit of practice, advancement in practice. He becomes detached from the fruits of the action. He becomes detached. If he performs an action, he is becoming detached from the results, of the action. So that means he is advancing a little bit. That's a sign of advancement in the path towards the Supreme Lord. So this is how much, and then if he performs Nishkama Karma Yoga with that kind of realization, detachment from the fruits, then he can come to the level of little bit, enter into the Jnana Yoga process, and he can understand the Lord in terms of Brahman, a little bit, and when he perfects the Jnana Yoga process, then he can understand the Lord in terms of Brahman in a great extent, right? So then he has to perform other yoga systems to come to the process of, come to better and better realizations. And finally, only in Bhakti Yoga system, a person can get a proper understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He get proper darshan of the Lord only in Bhakti Yoga. In other yoga systems, the Lord is revealed in a limited way. Right? Like that. Yes, Mataji.
I wanted to share a realization on the point you made in the beginning about punya, because I'm always disappointed with myself on how slowly I'm progressing and how poorly I'm performing in Krishna consciousness. But the fact that I have the opportunity to sit and listen to your lecture, be here amongst devotees, eat prasadam, I feel slightly cheerful that I must have accumulated a little punya at least. So it's motivating me to do more.
It's lot of punya, then only we get this point. So today morning itself we were discussing on one more shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. So it says, Aho bata, like, Swapachato Yad Jivagre Vartate Nama Tubhyam Tepus Tapaste. Okay, I'm forgetting this shloka. So this is like, what is it? This shloka told by Mother Devahuti, to Lord Kapila. So she tells that, those people who are who are able to chant the names of the Lord, using their tongue, It is like, they have performed all sorts of material pious activities. Okay, so this is ahobata swapachato grahiyan jyad jivagre vartate namatubhyam tepus tapaste juhua sanurarya brahmanuchur nama grihnanti ete. So this is a very amazing sloka, in glory of the holy name and in glory of the devotee also. A person who is coming to the point of accepting Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead and accepting the holy name of the Lord and chanting the holy name of the Lord, it's so glorious. It's so glorious. It is, here it is the translation I am reading. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name, even if born in the families of dog eaters. Such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at all holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. So it's like, it's like graduation. So its final graduation is that we get the point of accepting the holy name of the Lord, right? So it's very, very glorious. That is why this shloka also says, Swalpa punya, with little bit of punya, they cannot get this. With lots and lots of punya, then only we will be able to get the faith in the Mahaprasad, Govinda, Nama Brahma, and then Vaishnavas, right? So it's like you are supremely pious. Yes. Hmm.
I want some other engagement of Jiva.
Okay.
I think after 16 round, I'm going to go to we are keeping the mala and okay, done, it's done. Then Prasad also we are limited, but some other things when Jiva.
We can have unlimited Prasad.
Something attracted we see or something attracted. So that time immediately we think of that. Okay, we need to have something.
So we should have sufficient engagement for the tongue, in terms of we can actually explain about Krishna to others, and we can actually recite the shlokas. We can memorize shlokas. How many shlokas you know? Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So there is a lot of scope is there, So you can memorize whole of Bhagavad Gita, So you can memorize whole of shloka book and you can recite. And even if you have so one time I was there on a spree to memorize whole of Bhagavad Gita. I stopped after first chapter. So because I was so much engaged in other services. And also one more technical problem was there. Because I was not focusing on the meaning, I was simply trying to memorize, and there was conflict of so many words. And then I was trying to remember first line of one shloka, and then the second line doesn't come of that same shloka. Some other shloka second line comes. And I was thinking this is becoming too much. So we should memorize shlokas with meaning. So that time I was trying to memorize. First day I was struggling to memorize one shloka, and then after a week, I was memorizing one day a shloka, easily it was happening. And then at the end of a month, I was almost close to memorizing 2-3 shlokas at a time, in a day. So it actually the capacity started increasing. And then one experience of mine during the time is everywhere, because the target was there, I have to finish this first chapter at this time, second chapter at this time, whole target, So we are coming from corporate background, a little bit target oriented this one ho jata hai. So it's good also sometimes. So then I had this target, and I used to memorize, and one problem with the shloka memorization is, Shukadeva Goswami actually mentions in 10th canto also. So during the rainy season, the forest path, people actually traverse in the forest path, and the path gets established, right? So, and during the rainy season, nobody travels in the forest path, right? So then what happens to that path? Grass, again the grass grows up and the path gets lost. So in the same way, shlokas, if you don't recite every day, you will forget. So that slokas that you 20 whatever you have told, you are not reciting. That means you will lose. Now you saw, no, like one practical example. I'm trying to remember this shloka, which I'm not reciting regularly. Gone. So then again I have to work on that shloka actually. No, it is a loss. So then we can actually play the profit and loss game based on how much shlokas you remember, right? So every day you'll keep remembering. And then I was like, whenever I used to go to attend nature's call, taking bath, or like, going driving somewhere or whatever it is, like I'll constantly used to remember, Arey, like, no, yes, shloka, like that, no, I used to remember. And then during travel, I used to have a habit of, I used to like, Gaur Krishna Maharaj's, Bhagavad Katha, I used to like so much. So I used to play that in the, while traveling. And, different times, different things to hear or chant or to remember, like that, different places are associated with different activity. Now, if I go to this place, I'll do this thing. If I go to that place, I'll do that thing, like that. So in that way, we can actually engage the tongue and the mind, in Krishna's service. And it is like how expertly we are, utilizing our time and energy in remembering Krishna. So that much it helps, And material nature's job is to slacken us in this process. And like why we come in association of devotees? What is the purpose of coming in association of devotees? In terms of, let's talk about strategy. What is our strategic practice of sadhana? No, it's still not strategic. It is a statement. Where is the strategic attacking point for Maya? Mind, intelligence, and senses, right? This is the places where the material nature is going to attack us. And what is the strategic point of sadhana? It should be how to engage the mind, intelligence, and senses in the service of the Lord, right? And we have to, sadhana means not just 16 rounds and little bit reading and things like that. Sadhana means how to engage the mind, intelligence, and senses, which are the points of attack for the material nature, how to engage them sufficiently and nicely in Krishna's service. And it should be interesting also. It should not be like boring, it should be very interesting. We should make it so interesting that these three entities, mind, intelligence, and senses, are sufficiently and nicely engaged and interestingly engaged in Krishna's service, right? So that's the strategic way of planning our sadhana. Right? So sadhana is 24/7. Sadhana is not like 2 hours, 3 hours. No, sadhana is 24/7. So if I'm working in an office, how will I perform my sadhana there? How practically I can do sadhana? How practically I can engage my mind, intelligence, and senses in service of Lord? Reciting slokas. This is nice. Yeah, reciting slokas. That's. Yeah, that's a very nice point. Tongue can vibrate the Hare Krishna mantra. Any other tips? Listening to kirtans, yeah. No, this is a very nice point. I used to, when I was working, I used to play Hare Krishna mantra in a very, very low tune, and only I can hear in the desk and nobody else can hear. But when everybody goes off from the office in the night, like the sound actually gets bigger. And it goes into the AC duct and things like that, and also it becomes like morning first, whoever comes, they will hear like really amazing vibration of Hare Krishna. It's not huge volume, it's very, very feeble volume, but then it increases because of the empty space. And one of my teammates, the project lead of, the team lead of the other team which sits next to me. So that lady, like she was a Muslim lady, she used to, like she the first one to come to the office. Whenever she comes, like after, I had some chicken pox or something like that, and then 1 month I didn't go to the office. And when I came back to the office, she told, what is this mantra? Like, it is constantly there. Even in my dreams, it is coming. And then I was like, I went mad. Like, I went to my counselor. I told, like, Prabhuji, I'm trying to practice so much. Like, I'm not able to get this mantra even when I'm chanting awake. I'm not able to focus on the mantra. And here is a Muslim lady. And she's able to get in the dreams, and she's able to, and she was in fact murmuring Hare Krishna mantra, all the time. I went mad, like, what is this happening? Like, I am trying to practice and I'm not getting this, and she is getting this. So then he told that, because she has not committed any offense to the devotees, she is very, like, very neutral to Krishna consciousness. So she is able to pick up nicely, and this mantra is also working nicely for her. And for you, like you are there in the association of devotees, ये devotee में ये गलती है, वो devotee में वो गलती है, ये सब देख के like हमारा intelligence थोड़ा कम हो जाता है, and then the mantra doesn't work so much for us, right? So in that way, like he actually mentioned, but this is a very nice, this one, like very softly playing Hare Krishna mantra, during work or kirtans and bhajans, that's a very nice point. Any other points? Chanting the names and then hearing soft kirtan, yeah?
One question I have, Prabhuji, in the same shlokas. I come from a Sri Sampradaya family where Vishnu Sahasranama is given great importance.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you if among Sampradaya, is it okay for us to put the Vishnu Sahasranama?
Yeah, it's the names of the Lord. It's names of the Lord. Like, we have, what is the second stanza of Sikshashtakam? Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. Right? So it's like there are many different names of the Lord is there, and all of it is fully invested with the potency of the Lord. And all of them are quite powerful. So this one is like, how many of you here attended the Harinam Chintamani seminar when we did? So, okay, few of you, like maybe sometime we can do, like in Kagadaspura last week we were doing this seminar. It's 5 sessions. 5 sessions are needed. Like we can do it with breaks also sometimes. So there we discuss about the primary name and the secondary name. So primary names of the Lord are Lord's names which are in relation with the devotees of the Lord, which are in relation to devotional service. And secondary names are the Lord's names which are in connection with managing these material affairs. Shrishti Karta, Paramatma, and things like that and all. So these are all secondary names. And the Vishnu Sahasranam also contains a lot of secondary names also, if I remember it rightly. So, and it is also mentioned that 3 times chanting of the names of Ram is equivalent to chanting 1000 names of Vishnu. And then 1 time chanting the names of name of Krishna is equivalent to
3 times.
1 name of Rama is equivalent to 1000 names of Vishnu, and then like 1 name of Krishna is equivalent to 3 names of Rama. So in that way, like Hare Krishna mantra, if we chant, like we'll get more benefit also in that sense. Okay. This is time is okay. We have 3-4 minutes more to go. Yes, Tapan.
Prabhuji, you said seeing things separate from Krishna is ignorance. And majority of our day when we are out there, how do we really remind ourselves of that I'm not seeing that connection of things and people around me?
See, actually, seeing things perfectly in connection with Krishna, it takes a little more practice and time. So now, practical level, what is important is what we discussed just before. So how to engage the senses and mind in Krishna's service, like we can do that thing. So by this engagement, what happens is the purification of heart happens. Shanvatam swakata Krishna punya shavana kirtana hidayantastohi abhadrani vidunoti surutsatam. So when sufficient cleansing of the heart happens, so then the knowledge actually arises. So when the knowledge arises, so then naturally we will see things in connection with Krishna. It doesn't need to be an artificial imposition. It actually a natural consequence of practice of Krishna consciousness, right? And sometimes when we are when we are like in conscious of the philosophy, and when we are a little bit conscious of the Krishna conscious aspects, sometimes we are taken off in a trip, then it is difficult. But then sometimes when we are conscious about Krishna, so that time we can analyze things, how these things are connected to Krishna, right? So and then other times, we have to plan our externals in such a way that now if you play a soft kirtan, so whether you are conscious or not, the kirtan is actually feeding in the ears, right? So like, or the ears are feeding with the kirtan, right? So in this way, like we should make the externals in such a way that our senses have sufficient engagement, in Krishna. So that is something like, on an external level we have to plan in the, because the environment outside is quite different. So we have to plan the externals like this, and then the internals will start manifesting over a period of time. So we will start seeing, we'll have, initially it will be a fluctuating kind of a thought, that sometimes we are able to see everything in connection with Krishna, and other times we are down. And this fluctuation actually goes like this, and over a period of time, it will actually become stable. So it takes a lot of time to become stable, this one. So if fluctuation is there, and sometimes we hit that this one, we are on the game. No, we are we are in the right path, right? Like that. Hare Krishna. Your name, Prabhu? Yeah.
The question I have related to the chanting. So the one who doesn't chant doesn't know about the power of chanting and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That to get the mercy of Lord Krishna, one needs to chant properly. Now they do the bhakti as per their own understanding and taught by their parents and the cultures they are following. So the question is, they do not get the mercy of Lord Krishna. If not, then what would you advise them?
Okay, so basically, I'm not very clear about the
So
question.
I'll repeat again. The one who doesn't chant doesn't know about the chanting. Okay, especially let's take the example of the villagers or who is not aware about this song. Now they do not get the mercy of Lord Krishna. That's the question. And if not, then what would you advise them?
Okay, so villagers are in fact in better position. They are much more Krishna conscious than the city people. So here our activities are more because it's like more needed in the city. So basically the aspect is that if somebody is not in touch with Krishna, not at all in touch with any Krishna conscious elements, so how will they come in touch with Krishna? So for that, only way is the touch of a devotee. Only way is the touch of a devotee. So that's what the Lord actually explains, that many people go to the temple also. They don't still get the Krishna consciousness. So like they see the darshan of the Lord, they go to Dham, they go to different this ones, but still they don't become Krishna conscious. Because like a devotee has devotion to the Lord in the heart, and he can distribute devotion to the Lord. And Lord doesn't have devotion to the Lord. Meeting the Lord doesn't have much value. So we actually have to meet a devotee, and that is why the Lord sends the devotees into the system, into the world. And devotee's job, all of you are devotees. Devotee's job is to practice Krishna consciousness and remember Krishna, and then go out and give the mercy of Krishna to others. And if the devotee doesn't do this job, the people of this world are not going to get Krishna consciousness, right? So the Krishna consciousness is going to come from the touch of a devotee, right? So that is a very important thing. So they have to come in touch of a devotee. So that's why we should expand our activities. We should try to go everywhere, and we should try to touch upon many souls and distribute prasadam a lot, and conduct harinam, so that people can hear the holy names of the Lord. So all these things are required. So then little Sukriti will come, and then there is inspiration to practice Krishna consciousness will come.
One wanted to add.
Mm-hmm.
Chanting is not an ISKCON activity, it is the youth.
It's a Yuga Dharma. Yeah, chanting is not an ISKCON activity. You go to the villages in the Odisha, you'll find this Hare Krishna mantra is practiced by so many people. And in South India, you will find so many nice practices of Krishna consciousness is there. And village people in general are little more better off and more pious than us actually. To take birth in city is a curse actually. So village people are. Huh? So everywhere we have to go. I know Mataji, you travel, right? So you should conduct preaching programs there. You are the only hope. You should not just do your business and come. You should try to do something, You should carry some prasadam, and you should do something there. And that investment, a little bit of investment over there, it can come out in a big way actually. ठीक है. हरे कृष्णा. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, प्रसादम प्रेयर्स की जय.